And we're back.
Hello. Hello.
With our special bonus content for you amazing members. Thank you so much.
For Christmas.
Love you very much. And for Christmas, we were thinking of doing a nice little giveaway.
Yeah. So, for our members only, we're going to be doing a giveaway. If this works out, we'll do many more. But tell your friends to join.
Don't fuck it up.
Yeah, don't fuck it up. You guys have been doing great, by the way, with the secret fight announcement. I was looking at the post, and they were like, we're not telling you. We, all the members know, but we're not telling you. So thank you. Thank you for keeping our secret. So as a special gift, we're going to give away 2 of these hats to 2 special members. All you got to do is be a member. And I guess we can slide into your DMs and ask for your address of where to send the hat. But we'll run it until New Year's. And then on the 1st, we will pick a random member to have one of these beautiful hats. And if you want, we'll sign it. If not, I feel like it's weird to sign things that you plan on wearing.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. Some people are like, oh, sign it because I'm never going to wear it. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so let us know.
Yeah, let us know what you want us to do with it. You want us to, I don't know, lick it.
Kiss it.
Wear it for a day. Train in it. No, I don't know.
Smack Angela's ass with it.
Hey. That already happened. So that's kind of... gonna come with the hat regardless. But yeah, so 2 members will get a hat. We'll slide into your DMs when we pick the winner. So tune in after our first episode after the first. We'll do a little raffle and pull out the winner of the hat raffle, or the 2 winners. People are having trouble finding the link for the join thing.
Really?
I don't know if they were trying to riz us, or is that how you use that word? I don't think so.
I don't think so. I think that's short for charisma.
Well, you know, like,
were they trying to cap?
They were trying to cap us.
That's cap.
They were trying to bust a cap in us. I felt like either they were trolling so that we would give the information out about the fight or whatever, or they actually can't find the link. But the link is at the end of our descriptions on every video. And I think you might have to be on a desktop in order to click the link, in order to see it.
Can we send the link out?
Yeah, we send the link out. When I hit it on my phone, I can find it. Yeah. So I don't know. Maybe it's like, it depends on what kind of phone you have. Mm-hmm. But like for my new iPhone, if I click the link.
Probably Android users.
Probably. Come on, guys. Get with the times. You need an iPhone so you can send the haha to your friends in text messages. Otherwise, it just looks weird. It's like, it just looks strange. It's a whole paragraph of text instead of just the haha.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's weird.
You don't need that.
No, nobody likes that. Nobody likes a green text message.
Oh, it's the worst.
It's such a horrible color.
It makes my face do this. I don't even want to send the text anymore.
That must be subliminal. The way that that Apple planned that out. They're like, what's a gross color? Oh, I know, the color of like a cartoon fart, green.
It's the same color as the puke emoji.
It is. They did that shit on purpose, so everyone will bash Android users. So hey, you guys know how to use Androids and crack phones and stuff, so you should be able to find the link. You should be able to do that. You should be savvy enough for that. So join us so you can win a hat.
It's worth it.
It's so worth it, and you love us, so you'll do it, even though we talk shit about your phone. We got more questions, by the way.
Oh, we have a lot more questions.
Yeah, from our phones. I don't know where my phone is. Oh well. Oh, there it is.
That's a common problem with you.
Where's my phone?
All right. What rules would you change in UFC MMA if you had the power? Love the podcast, by the way. Thank you.
Oh,
thank you, Shadow King 2477.
Shadow King.
Yes. Yeah. So what rules? Well, I think that the new rule changes, I think, are exciting and very necessary. I think those were rules that have needed to be changed for a really long time.
I can't wait to use them. I can't. I'm so excited about using those new rules. I think I would have even though, like, I think we came to a comfortable middle ground. But I would have loved if they brought back like soccer kicks,
I knew
like
you were gonna say
Pride.
that.
Yeah, but I think the new rules version is a good middle ground where no one's gonna get fucked up to the
Listen.
point where they're in a coma.
For me, as a bottom player for life, it's not going to change, guys.
Everyone likes that. Everyone loves a bottom player.
There's a lot of tops in this world. Put your coffee down.
Oh my god! Almost ruined my roadcaster.
I've always wanted it to be able to like kick somebody from my back, you know, while they're like technically as a downward opponent. That's something that I've always wanted to do. There was this amazing fight. I think it was Anderson Silva was fighting Okami.
Yeah,
I think in Pride.
That was his one loss, right? Before,
yeah.
all the other losses.
Yeah, so he was playing guard and he grabbed Okami's hands and upkicked him. Kicked him straight in the face.
And it seemed perfectly legal to like an innocent bystander who would just be like, yeah, he was on top of him. Yeah, why couldn't he kick him in the face?
I should be able to do that. Yeah. I've always wanted to do that. I think that would play so well into my game. I'm here for it.
Yeah, I allegedly did it to Michelle Watterson when we fought. It was the neck. It was a push to the neck and it slid up to her face, but it was the connection, the impact was here and then it slid up. But you know, they were really mad at me for doing that, and so I was like, sorry. But I always felt like that is one of those moves that should be allowed, because it's like, okay, if they're on top of me and they're trying to jump on top of me and punch my head into the ground, I should be able to launch them with my feet.
Yeah.
Wherever I choose.
Yeah.
And you can kick anywhere else, but anywhere from the chin up is a no-no zone. Yeah. So, yeah, I agree. I'm for it. I love that rule change. I'm trying to think what else. I think the point deduction after missing weight is a good one.
Oh, like you start at complete deficit. That's interesting.
Yeah. So they actually do this in the PFL.
Yeah.
Where, and I think it happened to Liz Carmouche. She missed weight, and she, in the fight that she missed weight for, she was deducted a point from the scorecard, and she fought the fight. And I think the point deduction led her to win, lose. I don't know. Anyway, it made it more even. It definitely made the fight more even because she had that point deduction fight. And then you see in a lot of fights like Randy Brown versus your boy, Brian Battle, a lot of fights where it's super close, that little point deduction can make a world of difference.
I think I like the idea of the replay being used without stopping the fight.
Yeah.
I would really like to see that because I think it could be.
I thought that was a rule that they used.
But then it stops the fight.
No, they usually use the replay. Like, they use the replay to figure out if a foul happened, but the fight has to keep going. Like, that's what, so they use that little, they do this with the hand. So whenever you're watching fights and something weird happens, like a knee to the face, but the fighters keep fighting, they'll do this. And that's a cue for the people in the like room to get a bunch of angles from that moment to make sure that it was legal or not.
Okay.
So they do that, but I feel like there's something weird with the rules where,
but
like
the fight.
When the fight stops, you should be able to restart it.
That's
like
what I mean.
If the fight stops, then there's no restarting the fight.
Yeah, that's what I want to be able to do. I think that we should be able to see if it was a foul or whatever we're trying to look at. And after we figure it out, we can keep going.
Well, that actually happens. I think it's when the person can't continue anymore or they're saying they can't continue that the fight actually ends at that moment. But if it's a foul and the fight was stopped and the person can't go or they can go, then the fight restarts. Like, we've seen that recently where the person can continue fighting and they pause the action because of what happened was really bad. And if it was a foul, it restarts. If it wasn't a foul, it's done.
Yeah.
Like, if it was legal and the person milks it, then it's done.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I feel like there's a little bit more depth that could go on with that one.
So, like, if it's a legal strike and they stop it because the person cowers and covers up as if they got knocked out, do you think that that fight should continue? Or do you think that's a knockout?
I think it should continue.
Yeah, even if it's like a punch to the face, they're basically knocked out because they stopped fighting and they're like, and the ref jumps in because they stopped fighting. And then you look at the replay and it was a legitimate punch in the face, not an eye poke.
No, that can happen.
Yeah.
Like, I get that. But there have been some like taps where it wasn't a tap.
Or the taps. Like, okay. That's different.
Yeah. And like replay isn't used on that. And like somebody immediately complains.
Yeah.
Like, no, this didn't happen. This didn't happen. Okay. Like, why can't we use replay for that?
Okay. And that's why I was so confused. Because like with the strikes, they have it pretty good now.
Yeah.
Where with strikes, it's like, okay, if you hit him in the groin, this fight is a no contest because this person can't fight anymore. Yeah. Or the fight keeps going if the person says they can keep fighting. But you're going to get a warning or you're going to get a point deducted or something. But if it's not a groin hit, then it's a KO. Or it should be a KO. Sometimes they restart the fight when it's not a foul. And I'm like, that's a KO because they hit him in the liver.
Technically,
like our girl, Elise Ardeline. Remember, she got kicked right in the wait, what happened? She got that should have been TKO.
It wasn't, but it should have been.
Yeah, she got hit right in the liver. She grabbed her crotch and fell over, and they let the fight continue. Yeah. Whereas like, no, that should be a TKO. So they're not always going the way that I feel like the rules are written that they should go. And it's weird. Yeah, it is definitely a gray area.
I feel like it should be utilized a little bit more, especially with when people are like, I was fine. I didn't tap. I didn't do this. I didn't do this. Why can't we look at the replay and then restart the fight?
Yeah. Who was it? Who famously didn't tap to what's his name? He famously didn't tap to a homeboy that got kneed in the face by Masvidal.
By Masvidal. Oh, Hooper's dad.
Yeah.
Askren.
Yes. Ben Askren was fighting Robbie Lawler. And he didn't tap. He didn't even move. He didn't. He was like giving a thumbs up even, and Herb didn't see the thumbs up, and he broke them. And immediately he's just like, "You should be able to restart that.
Yes,
you should be able to restart it." I don't know what position you can restart that in. In jiu-jitsu, they have this weird thing where it's like if you're deep in a submission and you roll out of bounds, then you get 2 points, but they can't restart you in the submission because you're either gonna tap them immediately or it's not gonna be the same bite.
Yeah.
But you should definitely restart them in that position. I'm just not sure how you make it so it's fair to the person who has the submission and so deep. You know what I mean? Like, do you just give them the position again?
I feel like you could give them somewhat of the starting position again, but maybe it's in a more neutral way. So if you were on bottom and you had something locked in, maybe you can choose to just start standing. Maybe you can choose to have like a similar position as close to possible as you can.
Right.
Like they restart you in jiu-jitsu. Sometimes they try to like emulate the position.
Yeah, but if it's like deep in a submission to the point where you think they're tapping, it's I guess you're just gonna have to.
Or you could just like wave it and just be like, listen, you guys start a neutral position again.
Yeah.
But I just want the fight to be able to continue because there are so many like bad ref calls that could easily, you could just go back and look and be like, oh yeah, they didn't tap. Oh, they were actually fine. They were actually waving it off, or they were doing this and doing that. I just think that there could be more utilization. And I know it gets more complex than just saying like, hey, we should use replay and like, have the fight continue. I understand that. But I think it's something that could really change the landscape of people's fights and careers.
No, for sure. I think the guy that Chase Hooper fought, he would have loved
Chesky that. Or what was his name?
Slava Claus.
I was way off. Slava Claus. Yeah, but he's, you know, that one stuck out in my mind because we just interviewed Chase and, you know, we were talking about that. So I feel like that would, you know, be a candidate for that.
Yeah, for sure. Imagine if they stopped Brian Ortega's fight versus Volkanovski in that moment, because he was gurgling. They talk about verbal submissions. He was gurgling, you know, trying to. He was in danger. He was in danger. He was getting choked the fuck out, and then he was able to, you know, use his extreme traps to pop himself out of. He's probably the only guy who can tense his neck in order to get out of a guillotine. Yeah.
No, that was amazing.
Yeah, if they could have stopped that, and it would have gone the same way as a lot of people's fights who have been mistakenly submitted when they actually weren't. So I totally agree with that. I just was thinking about a totally different set of situations, but I totally agree. You should be able to restart it. I wouldn't mind, like, especially if I was getting submitted and they restarted the person in the submission that they had. I kind of wouldn't mind it because it still gives me an inch of breath.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like if I'm stuck in that darce and they stop it and I'm like, what are you doing? And then they restart me right back in that darce. At least I had a few moments to complain to get the blood back to my head. So I'm kind of happy as the bottom person because I get another chance of survival. I was probably about to go out. I probably had my hand hovering, and for them to give me that little second to breathe and get the blood back to my brain, I'll probably end up getting out. Yeah. I just feel bad for the top person, but at least they're still in that top position where they can just think about the next move now. So I think it's fair. I think we should do that. I hereby pledge for that rule to be brought in to 2025's MMA rules meeting.
Let's go.
I decree that we should be able to restart fights that were mistakenly.
I feel like when we actually retire, it's going to be really obnoxious. We're not going to shut up because there's no consequences to our actions.
And we're going to be so bored.
We got time.
Jess, did you call your congressman yet? I'm on it.
On it.
I already left 20 messages. Oh, man. Yeah, it's going to be great. We're going to make a lot of changes. Maybe. Or they'll just block our numbers, but
whatever. I got different lines, honey. Hey. I got business line. I get a freaking landline. I don't care.
You got Alabama lines.
Exactly. Exactly. I got a landline in Alabama.
Yeah, let's go.
I mean, nobody's answering, but it's there.
That's great. Well, yeah, I think those are some good rule changes.
I think so. All right. Moving on. We have Freddie Mac 327. Ooh. The Athletic Commission annoys me. Hey, me too. Her too. We could start a support group.
Does it?
Yeah. So the Athletic Commission annoys me with their unwillingness to correct or rule no contest on obvious referee errors. I think a review board consisting entirely of referees should be created to make final decisions on challenge decisions from judges or referees' errors. As fighters, what impact do you think something like that would have on the sport of MMA? Pros and cons.
That's amazing. I feel like he just was sitting here listening to our conversation and came up with that question.
I thought it was a nice segue.
Yeah, good job. Good job. Good job, Mac and Jess. I think that's a great idea. The only con I could see of that is, you know, referees sticking up for one another. I think it would be really hard to throw one of your I don't know what you call them, one of your colleagues under the bus. And it's very much a like point at this guy and reprimand him for the bad decision he made kind of thing. I think if there was a way to make it so that that referee didn't get the books thrown at them for being accused of not doing something the way that they should have, because it is a tough job to do. Like, they're just as hard as it is for us to make the right decision when trying to beat someone up. It's hard for them to make the right decision on, is this person concussed? Is this person unable to fight back? Are they tapping? Can they not tap because their arms are being controlled? Are they yelling at me that they're tapping? Like there's a lot going on. It's really loud in there. It's their job to know what's happening, but human error is a very human thing. So I don't think that it's right to just like the Herb Dean one that I mentioned earlier. I don't think that Herb Dean should stop refereeing because of that one mistake or all the other mistakes that he's made. I just think that there's a way. I think it would make it more comfortable for them to make these decisions if there was a way to not make it permanent. You know what I mean? Like when a ref stops a fight, like you were saying, especially in the past with strikes too, when a ref stops a fight, then it's permanently stopped. There's no restarting that fight. Now we have the replays and stuff so we can restart it with strikes and with foul shots. But with the tapping thing, there's still that issue where if they stop the fight because of a tap that didn't happen, the fight still stopped. So I think it would take the pressure off a little bit if there was a way to call that fight a no contest as opposed to a loss for this fighter that they probably respect a lot, and they thought they were helping them out by saving them from, permanent brain damage from being, Listen, unconscious for a long time. We sign a waiver. Yeah, we sign a waiver.
We sign a waiver that says we're okay if we die. I mean, it's literally in the contract.
I mean,
so let us fight to the death.
I do get chills down my spine, though, when I see these videos of people getting choked out unconscious, and then people don't realize that they're unconscious, and then their body starts convulsing, and you're watching someone die.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of stress when it comes to the person who's in charge of saying, is this person dying yet? I don't think so. I think there's still
it's a very high stress job, and they take it seriously.
Yeah,
and
they do.
I do appreciate that they take it so seriously, and they do get into reaction at times because they care so much about a fighter's safety.
For sure.
I think that's something that we need because we're in a very dangerous line of work. However, the human error thing, the emotions, the reactions can change the course of somebody's career.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think a board would definitely be helpful. A board for everyone, a board for the judges, especially.
We've talked about this, and I think that, every 6 months, I know we've talked about this before, every 6 months, you go into review, you have to take a test, you have to watch some fights, and you basically take quizzes just to keep your skills sharp.
Yeah, take a driver's test, only driving a fight card, a fight scorecard. How do you know? Oh, you ran into all the cones. You can't parallel park for shit. You're out of here, Grandma.
Sorry, see you in 6 months.
Yeah, leave your license at the door so we can cut it up in front of you. Yeah, they like the judges especially. I feel like the refs do less harm than the judges right now in MMA. Every now and then you get the refs kind of getting in the way or being a little too visible when there isn't much happening, or not doing enough, not taking a point away, not controlling the fight. I think a good example of a good ref is when Kopp was fighting Makayev, and he had to literally yell at them like little kids. Like, not Kopp, but Makayev was just doing all these things just to be a dick, pulling his pants down, not stopping when he would tell him off, not looking at him and listening to him.
Was that Beltran?
Yeah, it was Beltran.
Could you imagine getting scolded by Beltran?
Dude.
And he's the nicest guy ever, but inside there, he is an imposing figure.
He is. Like, Makayev is undefeated, but he's all of 4 foot tall. You could tell when he finally looked Beltran in the eyes, he was like, oh shit, okay.
Sir.
Sorry. But the only thing he didn't do that I would have wanted him to do is take a point away. But aside from that, I feel like that you have to demand respect in there because it's you're in control and in charge of each fighter's safety. So I think a lot of times referees can be intimidated by the fighters and let things go on too long, or let riffraff happen, that if they don't nip it in the bud right away, it's going to be the whole tale of the entire fight. So yeah, I like having a board of refs, but I think judging definitely has done more damage for people's career recently than the refereeing has. And I would like a board for the judges as well as the referees.
Yes. Everybody. A board for you and a board for you.
Everyone needs a board.
Yeah. All right. Our next question from Marcus Mustard 8285. How is it recovering after a tough fight? I would take Vicodin for a week straight.
You wouldn't shit. You wouldn't poop for 2 months.
Yeah, don't forget the stool softener with that. True story. No, seriously, don't.
Tell me your story.
Oh man.
Ooh, you have a good one? I've never actually taken Vicodin, but
I actually don't like medication.
Yeah, me neither.
I've had surgeries and not taken a pill whatsoever.
Damn.
But the first time I had my nose fixed, it was rhino and septoplasty.
Ooh.
And the first day of recovery, my dad was taking care of me. I was at his house. I had surgery up in Beverly Hills. And he like begged me just to take the medicine. He's like, listen.
What were you doing to him? I don't need it, Dad.
I don't want
it.
No, he's like, you just need to be able to chill out and go to sleep, you know? So I took a Vicodin or whatever it was, and I did not go to the bathroom for several days.
Oh.
And I had only taken one. And I was eating very like mushy food and drinking plenty of water, and like I got super backed up. And I woke up in the middle of the night in hot sweats. Like my body was like in toxic shock. Like I was having the worst time. And I can't believe I'm going to say this on film.
Let's hear it.
But I had to I stumbled to the bathroom. Like I was really kind of scared that how my body was reacting. I was sweating puddles and my body's shaking. And so I'm like sitting on the toilet and I'm like trying to get the stuff out of me. I had to help it out. Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I
was almost going to call an ambulance. I was not okay. I was I can laugh at this now because it's been almost 10 years, but it was really fucking scary.
That's horrible.
I was in a lot of pain and I was very scared, and it was the middle of the night and I was all alone.
Dude.
And I didn't want to bother anyone.
Because, Dad, can you stick your hand up my butt?
Yeah, man.
That's horrible.
It was pretty scary.
Damn.
Yeah.
So the only reason I know that is because Adam had surgery on his elbow, and that was the first time he had surgery. So he took a Vicodin too, because they're like, oh, everyone talks about this being great. So I'll take a Vicodin. And the same thing happened to him. Oh. And he was just backed up for days. And it's the same thing. Eventually your body has to get rid of it. Otherwise you feel like you're going to die.
My body was sending out the alerts.
Oh, that sounds horrible.
It was red alert.
I have been happy not to take anything ever since seeing someone go through that. Yeah. But yeah, that sucks. So you have to use a wooden spoon or something?
No, well, I'm sitting on the toilet and there were wipes, so I just grabbed some wipes and started digging in. No, I'm not kidding you. I was traumatized.
That's horrible. I was
traumatized.
Poor thing. I'm sorry you went through that.
Thank you.
That sucks.
It was really rough. Oh. It was very traumatic. I was very scared. And then, the next morning after, I woke up. Thank God I woke up alive. Thought I was going to die. Just poisoned from the inside.
Poop coming out of your ears and nose because it couldn't find anywhere else to go.
Yeah, and I was telling my dad about it, and he's like, "Why didn't you yell for me? Why didn't you call for me?" I'm like, "Really?" No.
That sucks, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, next time you'll know.
Next time I'll know.
He'll be okay with a little poop as long as his daughter is alive when he wakes up. It's it won't be the first time he wiped your ass. Probably the last, but not the first.
recovering from a fight can be pretty brutal.
Oh God. Yeah.
It can be it can be a little lonely, a little sad, little anticlimactic. You know, you want to go celebrate after a fight, whether you win or lose. Like there's a celebration because you just went through something like really challenging.
Yeah.
You put in a lot of effort, and there's a lot to be like grateful for and celebrate. And if you're fucked up after a fight, it kind of takes the wind out of your sails a little bit.
It does.
For me, at least, it does. I don't know about for other people. Some people are like, yeah, look at me, I just fought.
Yeah, right. You should see the other girl. Everyone thought she won because I'm really fucked up. No, it definitely feels like that. I don't know. I think the biggest surprise for me was like the post-win funk that you get. Is like you win the fight and you're like, oh, everything's going to be different and this is going to happen and that's going to happen. It's like, no, same shit. Same shit, different day.
Yeah.
You're just a little happier when you see photos from your fight as opposed to if you lost.
Yeah, and you go back to the gym, you get a couple like handshakes, high fives, and hugs, and then you're a normal person again.
Yeah, so it's really tough dealing with the mental part for sure. But physically, I think my recovery is like anti-recovery. Like I eat like shit. Yeah. I drink a lot. Usually I'll be like sober for at least a month before my fight. So right afterwards, I have a beer in my hand, a whiskey. I'm eating. I swell up because, you know, you're putting all this salt and alcohol in your body that you haven't really had in a long time. And so I don't know if that helps or hurts, but once I get back to the gym, everything feels a little more stiff, a little more rickety. Your ligaments are a little tighter. It's tough. Yeah, you definitely need to take time off. Every now and then you'll get in a fight and you'll be lucky enough to just have a couple bumps from like hitting a person. And you're fine, you know, like win or lose. A lot of times that's happened with me and you're able to jump into the gym right away. But yeah, those rough ones, I think when you get hit in the face a lot too, that part can be tough for a girl. Because when people see a guy with a black eye, they're like, you don't have like an emotional reaction to it. But when you see a woman like in a grocery store with a black eye,
reactions,
a lot of pity.
Yeah, there's just, it's a different, it makes me feel like I don't want to leave the house.
Yeah, you don't.
Win or lose, if my face is bruised, I just hibernate.
Yeah, you don't want people looking at you, creating stories. You know how people always go like, oh, the cute couple in the romantic comedy, they're like, what do you think that woman's story is? And it's like, if it was me after a fight, they'd be like, that bitch is getting abused. She didn't wash the dishes. Her sandwiches suck. Like... That's her story. That's the only story it could be because she can't possibly be a fighter, you know? And that's just kind of how it goes. Did I ever tell you about the cute little young kids walking past me and Adam after a fight once?
I'm not sure. Remind me.
We were when I first started fighting, I lived in New York and Adam worked in Brooklyn. He worked at his restaurant in Brooklyn. So I had just won a fight. So I was all like proudly brandishing my black eye. And I'm walking Adam to his job. And these like young, like black kids, like these little boys, they were walking the opposite way. And they see me and Adam walking. And so on my way back to the subway station, they're like, hey, yo, Ma. And I'm like, oh, here we go. Because, you know, I was a young hot thing then. I'm like, here we go. And he's like, yo, Ma, you all right, Ma? And I was like, oh, my God.
They care.
They want to make sure the white man wasn't beating me up.
Oh, bless their heart.
They're so sweet. And I was like, oh, I'm fine. I fought someone yesterday. And they're like, oh, okay. They're like, oh, you win? And I was like, yeah. And that's the thing that sucks, too. If you can't use that explanation when you lost because you know they're going to ask, did you win?
Ran into a wall.
Yeah.
I got in a car accident.
It was a doorknob.
We don't talk about it if we lose.
Yeah, no. I'm not going to tell you I got in a fight. Or they say, do you win? And I'm like, what? And walk away. Oh, I got a phone call. Bye.
They don't need to know.
Anyway, I thought that was really sweet. But yeah, it's different for women after a fight.
It is. There's, just people look and make assumptions, and then it creates this energy of just uncomfortableness.
Yeah, I do it too. Even though I know plenty of girls with black eyes, often it's like if they're not in the gym, then I'm like, what happened? Even like when I get to Alliance, I'm going to grappling, and one of the jiu-jitsu girls have a black eye. I'm like, who did that to you?
No, what happened?
You shouldn't be getting black eyes. You roll. Doesn't make sense.
It can happen there too.
It happens more often.
Usually
there
it's by your own knee.
Yeah. Or by the person you weren't even rolling with.
Yeah, just catch a heel to the face.
It happens way too often.
Some spunky purple belts taking up all the mat space.
Damn purple belts. Well, let's do one more question before we leave our lovely listeners with their families for the rest of the holiday season.
Oh my God! Excuse me, sir. Thank you. Thank you very
Butcher,
much.
do you want to pick a question? Do you want to pick a question? Butcher, you want to pick a question?
Okay. Astral K, who is a member. Thanks,
Hey.
girl. What's more stressful? Needing to win fights, UFC politics, physical demands of the sport, promoting yourself, or the mental demands of the sport?
Jeez.
Jesus Christ. All of them?
Yeah. Definitely E. All of the
All
above.
of the above. Because one thing can affect everything. It's a domino effect. So
yeah,
a lot of things have to be in order for things to go right sometimes.
Yeah.
And I mean, most importantly, we need to win the fights. Sometimes you have to be a politician. You have to get healthy, or you have to be healthy, to do well in fights. Usually, you have to promote yourself to get the big fights. Then you need to win them. It's just, it's all encompassing, and it's very challenging. And I don't necessarily know that there's any like right or wrong way to do it. It's just what works best for that person and where they're at, and what's happening. It's a lot.
What I like about that question is that you understand 90% of the stresses that go into being an MMA fighter, especially at that level. And the politics is a huge part of it too. I found myself really distracted by the politics when I first got into the UFC, and I feel like that might have hindered me a bit in my performances, because I would be looking at the opportunities other people got who are at the same level as me, or looking at like why did this person get cut and I didn't, and it can be distracting when ultimately if you win, then something good will happen. So I think the thing that should stress you out, but not really stress you out, but should be the priority on that list, is winning.
Yeah.
And like, look at someone like Kayla Harris, she won so much in a promotion where people thought she was going to rot away in it, that she was able to leave that promotion and go to the UFC, and now she's on her way to fighting a title fight. And this is after losing too. So I think the biggest, especially as a young athlete, the biggest concern should be doing everything that you can do to win consistently, and eventually all that other stuff will fall into place. A lot of people do this by different ways though. Like, some people pick their fights better. Some people are able to, some people have the privilege to pick their fights.
Some people are managed by the promotion owner.
Yes.
That's very helpful. Good job.
Yeah. And
good job. Well done.
These things lead to you winning the fights. And that goes back to my theory that winning the fights should be the top of the priority. And then everything else will fall into place. But all that stuff is such a distraction. I feel
it
like
is. That's the word right there.
Yeah.
It's a distraction, because the most important thing, as you just said, is winning a fight. But all of those things can blur and skew things in a way that will distract you from winning a fight.
Yeah.
It can really take you out of your game.
Yeah. And stress is like the last thing you want to harbor You know, you don't want to allow the stress to affect things in a negative way. So I think putting weight on prioritizing winning has helped me in more recent times, but like before, I think it could definitely get in the way and make situations seem a lot more stressful than they actually are. So it's a tough one being a fighter, because fighting in itself is so emotional. You know, like think about any time as a regular person that you felt like you were about to get in a fight. You were probably like, you know, you're not gonna get in a fight for fun. We are not Brad Pitt, you know, like we're not like in Fight Club, like, oh, let's get in a fight, it'll be fun. Like anytime you're about to get in a fight on the street is because there's a lot of emotional things happening, emotional stressors that led you to that conclusion. So getting yourself there without that is tough. Like that being the sport is really tough, and being able to control every other thing that stresses you out about fighting, I don't know, it just I feel like it just exasperates it. Yeah, so thank you, Astro K, for being a member, asking a very educated question. You are on the top of Santa's good girl list, or guy. I'm not sure. I feel like that's a
she's
lady.
She's
Yes, Astro. With her glass of wine.
My girl.
Yeah. All right. Well, this has been another Two Straws. We're going to be back in the new year to talk about all the fights coming up. First card of the year. Woo-hoo. Led by the women. Talk about woke UFC.
Yeah.
UFW.
WFC.
Oh, I love it. We'll be back to talk about that card, give you our predictions, and yeah, can't wait for it. See you in the new year.